Eccomi qua. Eccomi qua. Ero pronta, ma non ero pronta. Mi ero dimenticata le caramelle. Sento il bisogno di una caramella balsamica e quindi me la sono presa. Allora, siamo qui con Purrfect Date, che è una visual novel slash dating sim con i gatti. Quindi, nel senso, c'è bisogno di altre spiegazioni? Non credo proprio, quindi iniziamo subito, prima di subito. Allora, 6 capitoli? New game, dovrebbe durare un'oretta. Allora, enter a name. Facciamo questa. Ok, I'm an angel and I accept. L'autosave. Che problema c'è? Certo che lo accetto. Chapter 1. Ah, ci sono le statistiche. Oh mamma, come Monster Prom. Ciao Leonida, che carini i gattini nel menù. Sì, gatti dappertutto. Allora, I'm not sure how long we've been sailing, but it feels like forever. I'm not feeling too well now, so it's a huge relief to hear the deck lad shout. Island approach, make yourself ready. I'm finally here. When I applied last month, I was just another broke student living off baked beans and didn't really think I had a chance of being accepted to be a part of the prestigious Cat Island research team. Yet, here it is. The little black dot in the distance, growing bigger by the second, is the infamous Cat Island, the place I will call home for the next few months. My heart momentarily skips a bit. What if there's been a mistake? What if they accepted someone else's application and accidentally sent the offer to me? I rummaged about in my bag until I found the papers. Madonna, che brutti loro. Fortunatamente noi vedremo i gatti. E non noi stessi. Allora, DP Corporation, Dear Irisima, we are pleased to be able to offer you the position of research assistant to Professor Popper at our research facility on Cat Island. The position will be for an initial period of 8 weeks. Your contract will be sent separately. We look forward to working with you. Yours sincerely, Professor Popper, PhD, BSc, Hons DPG. Ok? Quindi noi stiamo andando su quest'isola dei gatti per fare degli studi. Questo è quello che dice lei. No mistake. That's my name, right there in the top left-hand corner. Irisima. And there's his name at the bottom, the genius behind this whole operation. Professor Popper, science genius and my new boss. I look up from my papers to see dry land rapidly approaching before us. It seems to be surrounded by a huge barrier of impenetrable black rocks. As we get closer, we're not slowing down, and I begin to worry that we're going to crash into them. Then, at the very last moment, we take a sharp turn to the left, and suddenly we're sailing smoothly towards jetty through an opening in the rocks. I blow out the breath that I've been holding and break into a smile. Nicely done, skipper. Invece vediamo anche noi stessi. The ferryman comes out from behind the steering wheel, ignoring my attempts at camaraderie, and shouts rather brusquely. Take all your belongings. We won't be back for days, so don't leave nothing you'll need. Thank you. I smile weakly at the ferryman and his son and pick up my bags ready to disembark. We glide seamlessly up to the wooden jetty and the son leaps ashore to tie us off. He's greeted by a bulky man in a uniform, who I take to be a security officer of some kind. Joe, sir, got you a mouse. And then he laughs loudly, as though he said the funniest thing he's ever heard. It's very disconcerting. The security guard remains surly and turns his attention to me. Let's be having you then. He holds out his large hand, which I assume is an offer to help me off the boat. But as I reach out to take it, he snatches it away, throwing me off balance so that I almost fall over the side. What a great start. Simpatico. ID card. Oh, I see, of course. I reach into my back pocket and hand over the laminated card I was given on the mainland. La mia espressione a questa notizia. Eccomi qua. Guarda come siamo. Guarda la bellezza. Siamo bellissimi. D'altronde non potevo scegliere la bionda. Sono mora. Guarda come salva. He barely looks at it before striding off, grunting over his shoulder. This way. I follow him down a dirt track path and get my first proper view of the island. It's beautiful, lush, and green. I'm already under its spell. After no more than a couple of minutes trekking, we're in base camp, which consists of an assortment of tents and huts. Among them are two solid-looking structures, one larger and one smaller. I presume these are the labs. The whole camp is moderate but functional. It reminds me of an army outpost. I'm struck by the lack of people. In fact, there's no one around apart from an older woman sitting outside, peeling a pile of potatoes. I smile and give her a little nod, but she just stares back at me. Sono tutti simpatici. Quando arrivano I gatti, I try not to get paranoid. Siamo dei modelli rispetto ai due pescatori, mamma mia. Here, he stopped at the largest of the tents, indicating that I should go inside. I feel rude just walking in, so I make my presence known first. Hello? A firm but friendly voice calls out. Come. I walk in, and there he is, hunched over some documents, the great Professor Popper. Sir, it's an honor to meet you. Yes, you must be Arissima. Come on in, my dear. Glad to have you on board. Good journey? Well, long? Yes, indeed. We're rather tucked away here. Let me offer you some refreshment. Water, coffee, something stronger perhaps, whiskey? Some water, if you have some. Just some water would be great, if you have some. Now that's something we have an abundance of. There are plenty of safe natural springs on the island, but we have the bottled kind too. I'm relieved as he passes me the bottle. I'm not too keen to start drinking from natural water sources until I have personally checked that they're not used as cat urinals. It will take you a while to find your way around and discover how it all works, so for today, I thought I would just get you kitted out and maybe introduce you to some of the locals, the cats, that is. I believe that you have already met most of the human locals. Purtroppo sì, li abbiamo incontrati. Oh, I've only met the ferryman and the security guard who brought me here. Yes, that's about it. And the lady outside? Mrs. Marigold. Her and her husband are the caretakers. A wonderful couple, the Marigolds. You'll meet them before too long. We're a tidy little family here. Arissima, I'm sure you'll fit in nicely. Thank you, sir. I hope so. Okay, so, first things first, this is your basic kit. He begins going through a pile of things on his desk, explaining each of them in turn. Lo spazio tra gli incisivi. Non ha messo l'apparecchio. This is your backpack. You can put everything in it. We will be going on plenty of field trips, so it will be very useful, as will your own water bottle. Some disinfectant and spray. These are heavy-duty reinforced gloves, which are essential when tagging cats out in the wild. Don't want any scratches from felines we don't know now, do we? I suppose not. I shove each items into my new backpack as he gives them to me. Likewise, these goggles are to be brought along on all field trips. This lot here, he indicates to a small pile of what looks like laundry. His basic uniform, lab coats, masks, a stethoscope, etc. Portable first aid kit, a camping knife with all tool attachments. Finally, and without doubt, most importantly, this. He holds up something that looks like a lot like a mobile phone, except it clearly isn't one. This is your catalog. Catalog? Yes, the name comes from its earliest version. It was initially designed to record and store data on the cats, scan them, and log their details, but as you see, we've come a long way since that. Now, you can use it to communicate with the rest of our team. I've added everyone's contact details for you, listen to music, take photos. There's even a pen that comes with it to insert microchips into the back of the cat's necks so that we can keep track of them. It is a very valuable piece of equipment, Arissima, and I need you to protect it above all else. Do you understand? He is looking at me directly in the eye and clearly expects a response. Yes, sir, of course. I will look after it. Good. You'll get to know all the functions as you go along, but for now I suggest we take a stroll out and see if we can't find a few friends to introduce you to so that you can try it out. He hands me the gadget. I feel a bit nervous taking charge of it, but also really keen to have a go. We head down to the beach, the professor explaining things as we go. The mixture of terrain on Cat Island is quite unique. Even in such a relatively small area, you'll find forest, mountains, jungle, beaches, woodland, all these different geological and ecological zones in one place. It really is most remarkable. It certainly is. Even the lack of wildlife is in itself quite remarkable. What do you mean, Professor? Well, put simply, there is a type of force field that surrounds the island, disallowing anything to enter. You mean literally anything? Absolutely no birds, fish, or creatures of any kind can penetrate it. Forgive my lack of intelligence on this subject, but we are here. The professor lets out a disconcertingly loud laugh. Aha, I see what you mean. Well, there is of course one small break in this invisible wall, and that is where we built the jetty. But let's not get too bogged down in all this right now. What you need to know is that basically the island is shaped like a peanut. He has picked up a nearby stick and draws a simple map in the sand. This, our end of the island, is very well known to us now. We've been researching here for many years. The other end is not so familiar to us. We have encountered difficulties that have hindered our progress in the region. What type of difficulties, Professor? Well, we are not as sure as we'd like to be, but what I can tell you is that the environment has an adverse effect upon humans, inducing nausea at the very least. And at the worst? Fainting, migraines, possible nerve damage. Gosh, that is serious. As I say, it's best to keep away, but let's not go into all that now, my dear. You've had a long day. For now, let's just say we refer to the far end of the island as the danger zone with a good reason. I must ask you not to put yourself at risk by venturing beyond this mountain range here. He refers to the map once more, drawing a line just past the center and an X through the end section. There are wild, aggressive cats out there. I wouldn't want you getting too close to them. Unlike our lovely fellows closer to home. He has led me to a spot where a few cats are lounging about. What do you say we try our catalog now, Arissima? Gatti pelati, non c'è stato ancora un gatto in tutto questo. Buonasera, signor Papero, come va? Come va questa avventura? Con Ichiban, con il cavaliere Ichiban. He stoops down and picks one of the animals, a disgruntled-looking cat who was sleeping under the shade of a palm tree. The cat lets out a displeased meow but doesn't struggle. Its large body, billowing with long orange fur, just sort of hangs in the professor's arms in lazy resignation. Would you like to have a go at scanning this delightful chap? I find the on switch and somewhat timidly activate it. The gadget immediately comes to artificial life, emitting a boop 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 sound with a red pulsating light. I select the app labeled Cat Scan and it loads instantly. There's no delay on this thing. The professor holds the cat towards me with arms outstretched. I'm sure he said the scanning chip is implanted into the back of the neck somewhere, but it's difficult to find this one's neck amidst the thick cloud of fur. I blow to make a parting and press the catalog to scan. It's a bit like scanning groceries in the supermarket where I used to work. That should do it. And he plops the marmalade tom back into the shade. Perfect date. Perché perfect date? Giorno, mese, anno? Cosa sta dicendo il papero? Si è ammattito? Sure enough, upon withdrawal, I find the cat has been successfully scanned. Fluffybot. Name Fluffybot. Gender male. Age 10 years, 4 months. Breed red tabby Persian. Eye color red. Amazing. Clever, isn't it? A large part of our job here will be to tag and scan the cats, such as Mr. Fluffybot here. But it looks like you'll have no problems at all in that area. Excellent work, Arissima. Thank you, sir. I can't wait to get started. Well, why don't you get a bit more practice with the catalog and scan the rest of them while we're here? These 5 spent a lot of time together.
Vabbè, senza un ritmo da livellare, il tuo, non il mio.
Ma non l'ho capita.
Perché, ok, il gioco si chiama Perfect Date, tu hai scritto Perfect Date, giorno, mese, anno. Dovrebbe far ridere? Non ho capito.
They're like a little family, aren't you? Oh, yes, you are. The professor seemed to be a genuine cat lover like me. I think we're going to get on great. Okay, here goes. No help this time. The professor steps back. The first cat I approach is very friendly with beautiful calico markings. It comes towards me, already purring. Trixie. Name Trixie. Gender female. Age 3 years 8 months. Breed calico American shorthair. Eye color green. Next is an elegant, sleek, hairless cat sitting gracefully in the sun. She doesn't pay me much attention and allows me to scan her with minimal fuss.
Scusa Leonida, tu l'hai capita? Tu che ridi, l'hai capita? Se tu l'hai capita, il problema sono io.
Snooty Booty, gender female, age 11 years, 1 month, breed Sphinx, eye color blue. The fourth cat I approach is a noisy one. McMurphy, gender male, age 6 years, breed brown, crossbreed. Eye color green. Aspettate che sto morendo un attimo, in che senso? Seghe, cos'è successo? And finally, the one I've deliberately put off until last. He's been skulking around the edges of the activity, eyeing me suspiciously as though he could pounce at any moment. I laugh at myself, already projecting personalities onto these animals. Kibbles, male, age 3 years, breed white British long hair, eye color green. All done, I hope you enjoyed meeting some of the locals. The professor lets out a little laugh. I have a feeling you'll get to know them quite well in time. That's probably enough for your first day, don't you think? It's quite a lot to take in. I am suddenly exhausted and grateful to be heading back to camp. It's quite late by the time I've unpacked and settled myself, but I want to write my journal entry before I sleep. I'm surprised at how chilly it is. I have pulled my sleeping bag right up to my chin, but I still feel goose pimples bloom over my arms. Shivering, I rub them to warm myself up. It makes me smile to think that this inherent reaction to the cold is what will be keeping my new feline friends warm tonight. My eyelids close, thinking of cats and the island and the professor. The world around me drifts away as I float up into a dream. I'm not sure how long I've been asleep, but I wake with a violent jolt that leaves me sitting bolt upright. It's too dark to see anything, but I hear a rustling and then a strange electronic noise, one that in my sleepy confusion I can't place right away. 79 starnuti, oh là là. Allergia? The catalog. Acting on instinct, I scramble to my feet and follow the noise out of the tent. Cos'è successo? I look around me and my fears are confirmed when I catch sight of a pulsing red light, getting fainter in the direction of the forest. I snap into action, running as fast as I can. Barefoot, dressed in my pajamas, running at full speed into the forest in the dark of night. I must be crazy. Comunque ho riso al... Ah, ok. Quindi non hai riso perché la battuta faceva ridere. Dov'è il papero? Non sono l'unica che non ha riso. Si prenda atto di questa cosa. Sia messo agli atti per piacere, avvocato? Scriva. The words of Professor Popper are ringing in my ears. Non è che bisogna capirla, I need you to protect it above all else. My legs are trembling beneath me. I stop, feeling my heartbeat heavy throughout my body. I wheeze in and out, my breath billowing in front of me in wide puffs. I shouldn't feel like this. Why am I so dizzy? I try to get my bearings and realize I've blundered perilously close to the danger zone. Pelata come i gatti. Ebbene sì, mi hai scoperta, sono uno sphinx. I can just make out the shapes of some large animals in front of me before my eyes close and I drop to my knees. Ci sono vari modi di scrivere la data, quindi perfect date, giorno, mese, anno. I open my eyes. The calico cat I scanned yesterday is sitting in front of me. She drops the catalog at my feet.
giocando col doppio significato della parola date. Madonna, per fortuna qualcuno capisce. Chiamo l'avvocato. Avvocato, io non parlo più. I pass out. Hello? Can you hear me? Are you okay? What is it? Don't be ridiculous, Cables. It's a human. Oh, yeah, yuck. I can smell it now. Smells like a human. Oh, do be quiet. Are they alive? Of course it's alive. It's breathing, you imbecile. Why isn't it moving? Would you come on and give them some space? Move back a bit. Yes, stand back. Move out of my way. Let me have a proper look. I begin to come to. The Sphinx cat is standing over me as I open my eyes. We stare at each other for a moment while I try to take in what's happening. Is this one a defective? Oh, I feel sick. I'm gonna puke. The cats watch me intently. Am I going insane? Ah, my head. What is it chattering about? They're scared and confused. Let me talk to them. Il colore di Trixie è accurato. Solo le femmine possono essere tartarugate, ovvero avere più di 2 colori. Ah. L'hanno fatto dei gattari. Human, are you alright? I remember, you took my catalog. Oh, but I gave it back to you. It's back in your pocket now. Iris è Snooty Booty, ma no! Mi ha detto che sono lo Sphinx! Il gatto brutto! Ha detto che sono un cesso, lo sapevo. I maschi nel caso abbiano 3 cromosomi XXY possono avere 3 colori. O più, ok. Senti Leoni da esperto di gatti. I try to reach into my pocket and realize my hands are scratched to shreds. What's wrong with my hands? I try to stand. Pelatissima, vabbè. E rincara la dose, capito? Avete visto tutti? Mi sta gridando e picchiando. Avete visto tutti? Ow, my feet! What happened to me? Yeah, I guess that's from all the climbing. I told you it wasn't ready for that. What's that? Ready for what? Its anatomical structure is far too delicate. I tried to slow it down. Yeah, Floof, you try to start restraining a human who's that determined. It was like a mergay. Its anatomical structure didn't seem that delicate to me. I was like, what? Doing what? You made your own way back to the beach. Okay, but that doesn't explain. I show my bleeding hands. Ah, you crawled, Kara. Kara? Who's Kara? That's not my name. It's a term of endearment. It's an Irish thing. It's inappropriate. Wait, I crawled? You sure did. Like a cat? Yup. All the way from the mountains? Like a bleeding mountain lion. Impressive. But why? Because you got the sickness. Shh. Maybe you should sit down, human. We need to have a talk. Possibly a long talk. Talk? Yes, that's right. Since when can cats talk? Oh, for goodness sake, since the dawn of time, how else do you think we communicate? Oh, stop splitting whiskers, Mayor. You know full well that what the human is saying. I think the revelation here, Kara, is that you can't understand us. Yes, that too. Will someone please explain what the hell is going on here? Well, we don't fully understand everything ourselves, at least not all the details for how it works. I think being stood in a forest, surrounded by a bunch of talking cats, is about as much detail as anybody would want. I agree, and more to the point, we were rather hoping you would be able to help us. You are the scientist, after all. What we do know is that the clock has started ticking for you. What do you mean? Oh mio Dio, sono tutti ricercatori che si sono trasformati in gatti. Attenzione, secondo me, ve lo dico, è così. Allora, Like a Dragon è probabilmente uno dei migliori Yakuza, nonostante il gameplay a turni alla faccia. È contestualizzato tutto il gameplay, ha senso che sia a turni con la squadra eccetera per la lore del gioco. Niente, ormai il papero esperto di Yakuza, esperto di lore, esperto di tutto. Capisco, chissà quanto lo vedremo. Probabilmente, secondo le mie stime, nel 2000 mai. Well, there's no easy way to say this to you, Clara. You'll be cattified. I'll be what? Whether you help or not, you don't have a lot of time before... If I may, it would seem, and we are basing this on our experiences to date, that when a human manages to find themselves in what I believe you call the danger zone, they are vulnerable in ways that they were previously not. That is to say, you're screwed. You're not helping. Don't make me... Whoa, mountain lion. There'll be no violence of any kind. Forgive me for being a bit panicked here. The vulnerability to which Snooty Booty was referring is, simply put, if you are bitten or scratched by an elder cat within the danger zone, you will begin a process of change that will ultimately result in a full feline transition. Cattified. So, basically, you're telling me I'm a werecat? I look down, and in amongst the scratches on my right hand are two distinct puncture marks. The reality of my situation descends on me like a cold mist. Basically, yes. My head is spinning. This is too much for me to take in. Oh, take a breath now, Kara. You're not looking so good. What? Have I started to change? I feel my head for ears, fur, everything seems to be normal. No, I just meant you're looking a bit shaky. Understandably so. I take a few deep, steady breaths and calm myself enough to say, okay, so, why, how, what? Give me some data. What have you got so far? Look, we'll answer anything that we can, but the truth is, we have more questions than answers ourselves. So, you said you need my help. What exactly would that entail? Well, finding our friends will be a start. The cats on this island, they're going missing. We don't know what's happening to them, but the body count is rising. And we've hit a wall. A parte che per ora, da quello che ho visto, non è legato a quelli vecchi, ma sono poco oltre la metà, quindi chissà. E infatti in tanti dicono che quello è il punto d'ingresso top per uno che non ha mai giocato la serie. Perché appunto è slegato, cioè tutto slegato dal resto. Nuovo protagonista, nuovi posti, nuove genti, poi magari ci sarà qualche richiamo piccolo, però è proprio a sé. È un nuovo corso della serie di Yakuza, a quanto ho capito. Mi pareva di aver visto alcune facce note, magari sono un cameo. Penso che sia una roba così. A wall of ignorance, maybe. Really, how many times do I have to tell you? The maulers are to blame. Maulers? No, Fluffy, but there is no need for name calling. Speaking of name calling, I remind you to call me Mayor, madam. Look, they can't help the way they are. It's lack of breeding, you know? Overbreeding, if you ask me. Again, maulers? They're the elder cats, the island originals. They can't speak the way we can, hence the derogatory term mulers. And how are they to blame exactly? Judgment invece penso proprio non lo continueranno, troppe fregnacce burocratiche con l'attore e cantante asceta. Non so, io pensavo dovesse essere una trilogia. Secondo te un terzo non lo fanno, quindi? Fa brutto averne due, basta. Well, if I knew that, there would have been no need for this elaborate kidnapping. It's hardly proving to be a roaring success after all. Look, Kara, all we really know is that we are no longer safe out on this island. The elders who live within the danger zone are hostile towards us. Not sure why, it's just always been that way. And now, because cats are being taken, no one else is safe either. You expect the occasional mishap? We live in an undomesticated world here, after all. But lately, cats have been disappearing almost every day. Even the last human we catified went missing. I'm sorry, what? Let's not open old wounds, Cables. Yes, onwards and upwards. Well, first things first. This word cat fame. Catification. Transition. Whatever. How does it work? Time passes, then you transform into a cat. Yeah. It's a gradual process. It's different for everyone, but you won't just turn overnight. The clock is ticking, however. The first side effect of the transition is being able to understand us. Well, some of us. Not the elders, obviously. Not all the domestics either. Then you have the whole heightened senses thing, the increased agility, the crazy body hair stuff. Let's not worry the human with all the details just yet. I assume there's an antidote? I'm afraid you're going to be disappointed in that assumption. Hang on. You say there was someone else who you'd put in this position. Well, let's hope you're a better bet than they were. Unfortunately, they weren't able to discover an antidote or get our friends back. I know where their notes are, though. Really? Trade? Huh? You help us, and I'll give you their progress reports. So, what do you say, Kara? Will you help us? Not much of a choice, really, is it? Afraid not. Okay, fine. So, where do I start? Is there anything you can tell me that will help me track down your missing friends? Will no one listen to sense? Start with the Muellers, and I'll eat my hat if he doesn't end there too. Don't mind him. He's set in his ways. We have every reason to believe the abduction takes place in your part of the island. Yes, nowhere near the danger zone or the elders. Well, that doesn't make much sense. But I suppose nothing does around this place. My catalog starts beeping. Oh, my alarm. I have to get to work. You run along now. We don't want you arousing suspicion with your people. You can meet us later. I'll make sure those reports are in your tent before this evening. Thanks, Kara. You're one in a million. I imagine the odds are far greater than that given your new health status. Go! And thanks from all of us. Se prosegue nella linea temporale, per forza ad una certa ci sarà un ricambio di personaggi. Sono tutti vecchi in Q. Sì. Praticamente vedi Kiryu dalla gioventù alla vecchiaia. Vedremo Chris. Stessa cosa che dovrebbero fare in Resident Evil. Vedremo Chris col deambulatore. Ma prima o poi anche di Resident Evil o fanno un reboot completo o mettono in campo personaggi nuovi che possano proseguire il disagio. After a rather painful journey, I am very grateful to finally limp into camp. I have just enough time to get myself tidied up for work, and I'm about to peel off my filthy pajamas when I hear my catalog beeping. Lessi che non vogliono continuare con Rose, quindi temo. Purtroppo sai come sono i fan. Sai come sono i fan, che se li togli Chris, Jill e quella gente lì, oh mio Dio, cambia tutto, non mi piace, è schifo, cacca pupù puzza.
I have a message, but I can't tell who it's from. It's not from any of the contacts that Professor Popper programmed into it. In fact, there's no contact information at all. Unknown number. Are you sure it is wise to trust everyone, anyone? What on earth does that mean? Who is this? There's a lot you don't know. Think carefully about who you confide in. Before I can think of a reply, the messages are gone and my catalog has no record of them. I don't have any time to think about this right now. I need to get ready. As soon as I'm presentable, I head over to the lab. I'm 10 minutes late. It doesn't give a good impression on my first morning.
Oh, Erisima, good to see you. I was beginning to worry. Did you oversleep on your first day?
I'm terribly sorry, sir. I think the traveling and all the excitement of yesterday, I take punctuality very seriously. He cuts across my apology.
Not to worry, it's perfectly understandable. You'll find I'm quite relaxed about most things. As long as you get the work done, I don't much mind what hours do you keep.
Thank you, sir.
So, shall we get started? My goodness, what on earth happened to you?
He's looking at the scratches all over my hands.
Oh, I fell and tried to save myself by grabbing onto a bush. Not a secret drinker, are you, Erisima?
Oh no, sir. I'm a bit of a lightweight, to tell you the truth.
I'm just teasing. We ought to get those hands sorted out, though. They look pretty nasty to me.
He goes to the tall metal cabinet in the corner and takes out a bottle of some cotton wool. He begins cleaning and tending to my hands while he talks.
Appunto, i fan di Resident Evil, appunto. Aiuto.
For today, I'd like you to help me with a few tasks around the lab to get the hang of things. But from tomorrow, I'll let you make your own choices about how best to carve up your time. Of course, you are primarily here to carry out your job as my research assistant. However, try to make the most of your time on the island. Once your work isn't completed, we'll be saying goodbye. This really is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, so don't waste it all in the lab. Naturally, I need your help around here, but I'd also like you to get your hands dirty with some field work. Make sure you spend time exploring the island. It's a beautiful place and there's a lot to see. Take the time to get to know the cats. A full understanding of their behavior is crucial to our research. There is plenty to see and do, however, you must be careful not to overwork. Take regular rest and relaxation. We don't want you to burn yourself out. Do we? I'll try to get the balance right. That's the spirit. So, there you are. There you are! No, ok, scusate un attimo. Ma sta tristissima, sembra il fight finale di un JRPG, quando il protagonista si sacrifica lasciando sola l'amorosa, o viceversa.
così triste? È così triste? No, mi sembra allegra a me. There you are, ignorant cretins. There's no point in hiding. Vabbè, basta. He's done a first-class job on my wounds, and they aren't bothering me nearly as much. I spend the rest of the day with the professor, getting to know how the various pieces of the equipment in the lab work, finding out where everything is, and learning some of the basic duties I will be performing routinely. A me risulta tristissima, bene. Siamo agli antipodi allora. By the end of the day, I am exhausted. I make my way to my tent. I'm about to flop down on my bed when I see a package poking out from underneath it. It's the reports that Kibbles promised to deliver. The cats were right. The previous person barely made a start on producing an antidote. I am gutted and worried. What if I can't do any better? Will I just turn into a cat? I decide it's not an option and resolve to get going on my own research into it tomorrow. My instincts tell me that the cats will be a good starting point. I have a feeling they know a lot more than they are prepared to tell me. I need to gain their trust and see if I can get them to open up a bit. I'm sure I'll make more progress if I focus on one at a time. I am optimistic that one-to-one sharing will prove fruitful. It's a small glimmer of hope. Si ricorda la 9 con i piccioni? Sì. Hatoful Boyfriend, assolutamente sì. Ho giocato anche quella. Tonight, I'm not fit for anything. I can barely even write in my journal before I fall asleep. The first morning of waking up on the island, I'm so excited to discover what the day will bring. Should I jump straight into the lab research, or maybe it would be wise to start investigating a way to help these cats and find a cure for myself? Perhaps a good starting point would be to get to know the cats a little better on a one-to-one basis. What should I do today? Romance, research, reckon. Research. Which tasks should I research? Cat collection. It's a sunny afternoon. Most of the cats are lazing on the beach. Perfect. Like shooting fish in a barrel. I double-check my supply list: crate, treats, sedatives, snare, catnip, antiseptic cream for myself. I've got everything. I have a sick feeling in my tummy, but I ignore it as best as I can. This is going to be a challenge, but I'm pleased the professor is trusting me with the more physical tasks. I walk out onto the beach, feeling like the child catcher. I keep reminding myself that I'm doing this for the greater good, even if it makes me unpopular with the cats. I set up the crate in an unsuspecting location and keep the snare hidden behind my back. At first, I stroll around, trying to look as casual as possible, whistling a tune as I walk. I get close to one of the smaller cats. I start to stroke her. I want this to be as painless as possible. The cat responds well to me. She even starts to purr gently. Are you going to come with me? The cat looks at me with big, wide, loving eyes. Come on, then. I pick up the cat, carry her to the crate, and place her gently inside. I lock it shut, even though the cat makes no attempt to escape. Well, that went better than I expected. This may be a good day after all. Cats on the Beach Vaporwave Remix. Comunque c'è How Long to Beat, dura un'ora. 53 minuti, non è neanche finito il primo capitolo. Dura un'ora se skippi. Allora. Io veramente. Emboldened by my success, I approach one of the slightly larger cats. Hey matey, shall we get in the basket? I give him a little stroke. He doesn't respond badly, although he doesn't seem particularly interested either. I put my hands on either side of his body, ready to pick him up. He doesn't look happy about it and growls a warning at me. Hey, mister, it's going to be okay. We're just going on a little trip, alright? As soon as I start to lift, all hell breaks loose. Yowling and hissing, he scratches my arms to ribbons. I try to get into the basket, but he stretches out, and I can't fit in him. Oh no! I know when I'm defeated, and I have to let him go. He scarpers off into the distance. Do not know what I proceed to do full cyberpunk lore length session, esatto. I look down at my ravaged arms. Note to self, wear long sleeves when on Cajun duty. Okay. Recon. I've been staring at the back of his head for a long time now. Too long. I'm starting to feel creepy. I just don't understand it. All he does is sit in that chair by the dock, eating egg sandwiches and doing crossword puzzles. How does a man like that become the security guard for a place like this? As far as I can tell, his job consists of greeting the boat to make sure nothing unauthorized gets on or off of it, picking up supplies deliveries, and occasionally taking a long, lazy lap of the island to make sure everything's secure. I wonder what he knows about the research that goes on here. If anything, he doesn't seem to be interested regardless. I decide it's time to get to know this island bouncer and go to join him at the dock. I sit next to Zane, me on the sand, him in that chair. He's not wearing his big coat, and the short-sleeved shirt allows me to notice for the first time how surprisingly muscular he is. I never truly thought of him as a security in the bodyguard sense, but now, squinting at him sideways, trying not to stare too obviously, I begin to see him in a new light. I pluck up the courage to talk. Hey Zane, how are you? Are you trying to start a conversation? He says this without looking up from his crossword puzzle. I suppose I am, yes. I don't get to chat to humans much in my job. Research assistant 125. He rolls the words out like he's reading them. Oh yes, I guess that's me. So what does the number stand for, anywho? You don't know? He asks monociously, eyes still glued to his crossword puzzle. No, actually, to be honest, Zane, I don't know much at all. There's a definite lack of intel sharing on this project. Which project would that be? This one? This whole research project that's going on. Is there more than one? Depends who you ask. I was just asking you, really. I don't understand your job. I don't need to. I don't care about things I don't need to. What do you care about? Zane looks at me for the first time. You really want to talk, don't you? Well, there's not much else to do here. Besides, I'm interested in all, aren't you? My interests consist of what's for dinner and when's my next puzzle book's coming. When it's coming, you get it delivered? Comes with the mail. He's back to not looking at me again. The mail? You mean the parcels? And the letters. Yeah. The letters? Who would go to the trouble of sending mail all the way out here when we have email? I laugh, but Zane looks very serious. It's safer sending mail the old-fashioned way. With email, there's viruses, hackers, worms, cyber terrorists. I get the feeling it's not very tech-savvy. Yeah, but anyone can open and read a letter, right? Not if I'm around. And besides, who would suspect that something important will be in a fragrant pink envelope? There's an awkward silence. Of course, being my usual socially inept self, I'm desperate to fill it. Need any help with that crossword? I'm pretty good. I can even do the cryptic puzzle in the Daily Inquirer. This line usually gains me a little kudos, but Zane simply ignores me. I decide to just come out and say what's on my mind. I mean, it can make things more awkward than they already are. Zane, have you ever noticed anything strange going on here? Cats behaving weirdly? Voglio I gatti, chi è sta gente? Punto, chi è sta gente? Zane suddenly looks up, his eyes locking straight on mine, unwavering and hard. No. Have you? Well, not exactly, but... He is looking at me properly for the first time since we met. I have definitely captured his attention, but I'm too nervous to follow through. I'm just being silly. The lack of human company can get to me, gives me daft ideas. Such as... He's still staring at me, as though he's trying to read my mind. Sometimes, when I'm out tagging, I feel they're playing games on me, like children hide and seek, that kind of thing. Some of those cats may be cleverer than any of us give them credit for. Oh, now it's my turn to be intrigued. In what way? They know when to stay out of the sun. You're going pink. The moment, if there was one, is over. I decide maybe Zane isn't the best person to talk to about my concerns. Feeling unwanted and slightly dejected, I decide to head back to camp. I stand up and brush the sands off me. What's a 5-letter word for solitude? Alone? Zane silently scribbles in his books as I leave. Ricerca. Today I'm in the lab doing floral research. It's not the most exciting job, but if I keep my head down, I can get through it quickly enough. It really just consists of unpacking the new samples of plants and flowers that the professor and I have collected on our foraging expeditions and logging them into the database of organic substances on the computer. Most of them are commonplace plants that grow abundantly in the forest, but occasionally we come across something more rare, exotic even. One of the samples I'm looking at today is the Calendula incana maritima, which is very interesting indeed. I can't help speculating that it's been cultivated in the marigold's little greenhouse and then transplanted to open ground. I'm distracted momentarily by the sound of clinking glass, and I turn to see the beautifully manicured paw of a sphinx cat tapping on a beaker, nudging it perilously close to the edge of the counter. Becker? Forse? Becker? Boots, stop that. You're not supposed to be in here. She laughs as though I've told a joke. That's a frightfully pretty flower. Calendula incana maritima, if I'm not mistaken. You never cease to amaze me, Boots. How on earth did you know that?
Why, I make it my business to know all about rare and valuable works of art. Art? Why not? It has been created like a sculpture or painting. The marigolds are true artists in the garden. I wonder if they had something to do with this. It's so unusual, even in its natural swampy habitat. But to have it growing here in the forest is very out of the ordinary. Yes, its properties are extraordinary too, human. Well, I'm quite new to botanical science, so I probably don't know the half of it. Why don't you fill me in? Although I am always happy to facilitate your learning, human, I simply can't stay here for a moment longer. The air is so stale, don't you find? I ignore her sideways glance and upturned nose. Let's go to the beach and drink some coconut water, and I'll tell you everything you need to know. Snooze, I'm not going anywhere until I finish this. Lo Sphinx è proprio violenza evolutiva, cattivissima. Don't be ridiculous. You can tinker about in here any time, but the sun will be gone in an hour or two. I'm not tinkering, this is my job. If I don't get it done, the professor will want to know why. Then explain to him you had better things to do. Snooty Booty, I won't tell you again. If he catches you here, Popper will cage you. Be careful with that flower, human. It doesn't do to inhale that fragrance too deeply. What? I turn to ask why and see her flounce out, knocking the baker with a swish of her tail as she does. Yar, it is in Ireland. You did that on purpose. But she's gone, leaving me to clear up the broken glass. Maledetta. Rest. You had a lovely nap and wake up feeling revitalized. Your energy has been restored. Magic. Scusa, ma le statistiche sono queste? Ricerca. Aspetta, no, allora no. Reckon. Reckon 10. I hear my catalog beeping. I presume it's the professor. I tumble out of bed, half asleep, and fumble around looking for the device. I look at the screen, my eyes struggling to focus. The message isn't from the professor at all. There's no contact information. Come outside. Who is this? Come outside. They obviously aren't going to respond my question. Should I do as the message tells me? Andiamo a vedere. Yes. My curiosity is roused. I have a feeling there's something important to learn from this stranger, so I throw on my clothes and crawl out of my tent. I don't see anything out of the ordinary. Anyone out here? My catalog beeps again. Walk to the edge of the forest. I'm not going any further until you tell me who you are. Walk to the edge of the forest. No. Walk to the edge of the forest. Walk to the edge of the forest. Walk to the edge of the forest. Stop it. By now I realize I have walked to the edge of the forest. At the edge of the forest, I see something on the ground. As I get closer, it becomes clear that it's a small posy of flowers. I gingerly pick them up and notice that several of the flower heads are missing. My catalog beeps again. Follow the petals, and that's when I see the trail of little orange petals the same color as the bouquet I'm holding. Well, I've come this far, no turning back now. I begin to walk. I'm nervous, so I call out, "Hello?" No answer. Louder this time. "Hello? Hello? Hello? Who is that? Who was there? Mayor, is that you, Fluffy Bird? I really wish you wouldn't call me that, human. What on earth do you think you're playing at? Porting around the forest in the dead of night, causing a ruckus? Oh, Mayor, you don't know how pleased I am to see you. I need your help. And this can't wait until a civilized hour? I'm afraid it can't. I'm not the one instigating this. I've been getting messages from an anonymous source asking me to follow them into the forest. Look, they've left this trail. Huh. Calendula marittima, marigolds, herb of the sun. They're said to represent creativity, though some believe them to be symbols of cruelty and grief. Your knowledge is always so impressive, but I have to say on this occasion, it's not very comforting. Fluffybird goes striding off with purpose. Come along then, Irissima. Are we going to follow this tray or not? I shuffle awkwardly behind him. Before the sun comes up, eh? We continue on for a short while and notice that the petals are getting more sparse. It's becoming more difficult to see them until eventually they seem to run out, and we find ourselves at a small clearing. Well, it appears somebody has been playing a joke on you, Irissima. I sadly agree, this has been nothing but a wild goose chase. Un persiano crassissimo. È un persiano? L'ha detto prima la razza, ovviamente non me la ricordo. Però sì, la faccia schiacciata. Seems so, Mayor. I'm sorry for dragging you into this. Let's get back to our beds before we waste any more precious news time on this fool. I turn to Fluffy Boot and notice that his back is arched and his fur is puffed up, making him look even more fluffy than usual. Something wrong, Mayor? You tell me, human. Does that pile of rocks look suspicious to you? Amongst myriad rock piles, I notice a small, contrived-looking cairn. Fluffyboot's right. It looks far from natural. That looks to me like it's asking to be inspected, Mayor. Well, get to it, Irissima. You're the one with the thumbs. I begin to dismantle the small mound, rock by rock. It's not until the foundation stone is removed that we find a manila envelope. Mayor, look! It's a letter. Looks rather large for a letter, my dear. I think you ought to open it. Here or back at base? Having got you this far, I think it's only fair that I have equal share of the spoils. Spoils? Yes, perhaps we should look right now, Mayor. As I'm speaking, I've torn into the envelope. Well, out with it. It looks like drawings. What sort of drawings? I'm not sure, but they look quite old, antique even. But do they have value, human? Probably to someone. They appear to be sketches of people here on the island, but I don't recognize anyone. Why would someone lead me to these? How do you know you were meant to find them? Because we followed a trail and it led us here.
Actually, the trail ended a while back. This could be a mere coincidence. I hardly see the intrigue in a few old scribbles. They show no artistic flair at all. Even so, I'm going to hang on to these to see if they prove relevant to whatever mystery is unfolding here on this island. Fluffybutt rolls his eyes. You really ought to focus more on the clues that matter, instead of running around in the middle of the night on wild goose chases. Let's head back before anybody discovers you're missing. I roll the drawings up and tuck them into my waistband. I will study them when I have more time. I think Fluffyboot is probably right, but I don't want to miss a trick. Get some rest now, Erissima. Finally, a sensible suggestion. I head after Fluffybutt, struggling to keep up. I really need some sleep. Reckon? Ah, ma non ne ho altre? Quindi? Scusa, se faccio questo? Quindi va giocato tipo più e più volte per sbloccare mano a mano i capitoli? Ci siamo soft bloccati? No, possiamo fare romance, vediamo cosa succede. Lo sento. Perché alcuni sono bloccati? Usciamo con McMurphy. Secondo me è una di quelle cose che più vai avanti e più cose sblocchi. Kara, wake up. Ah, Mommy, is that you? Shh, quiet, Kara. Come with me. I have something to show you. Quiet. McMurphy? It's me. But it's the middle of the night. Ah, you're not scared, are you? Why would I be scared? Creeping around in a forest in the middle of the night? Don't worry, Kara. I'll be there to protect you. McMurphy, you know very well that there's a force field around this island stopping anything from the outside getting in. It makes this a pretty safe place. Indeed, so the only things you have to worry about are the things that are already here. He leers at me with a mock snarl. Seriously, Marv, if you're the worst threat here, then this is the safest place on Earth. Come on, Kara. What are you waiting for? I follow the scraggly cat into the forest. The ground is wet and muddy, and I lose my footing a couple of times, but McMurphy is too determined to notice. Suddenly he stops dead in his tracks. Here we are. Where is here, McMurphy? He ignores my questions and starts digging into some mud and leaves on the ground. Almost got it. Could use a heart. Kara, if you don't mind. A hand. Get these leaves out of the way. That's it. Here we are. Okay. We keep digging until there's a very deep hole in the ground. My arms and nightclothes are covered in mud and leaves, and McMurphy looks like a bog monster in the darkness. Ta-da! Ta-da? Can you see it, Kara? I'm not sure what I'm looking at. I always forget how useless humans' eyes are in the dark. Just reach into the hole and take out whatever you find. I reluctantly reach into the burrow and feel something hard and cold against my hand. I rub my fingers around it and pull it out. I know the shape, but my eyes can hardly process it. It's a bottle? That's right, Kara. This is my secret stash. No one knows about it, not a soul, but I thought I'd share it with you. Though we could have a kind of a welcome to the island party for two. Secret stash? Is this booze? McMurphy lets out a wild laugh. That's it! Cara? You drink alcohol, but you're a cat. That can't be good for your body. It's not good for anybody's, but it does wonders for the souls, to be sure. Well, I suppose you're right there, McMurphy. I guess one little nip couldn't hurt. That's the spirit. I try in vain to get some of the mud off me before giving up and sitting down against a tree. A sudden McMurphy curls up in my lap. It takes a while to uncork the bottle. McMurphy keeps telling me to smash it open and that the shards of glass will only add to the flavor. But eventually, I succeed. My way. I pour a little of for McMurphy into a leaf and I self-consciously swing from the bottle, feeling a touch uncivilized. Ugh, Murphy. What in heaven's name is this? Huh. No, don't worry about that, Cara. It's not about the taste, it's about the company. I hardly think I'm the type of person you'd usually hang around with. Well, I usually hang around with cats, and they're not exactly what you'd call my type. Scorretto, c'è un roditore sulle Ande che nutrendosi di bacche un po' troppo mature e quindi alcoliche s'ambriaga? Il roditore ambriago? Sta pian piano sviluppando una tolleranza a modiche quantità di alcol. Minghie? Ande. I respond by widening my eyes as I take another swig from the bottle. Somehow it tastes less terrible the second time around. I find humans much more interesting. They usually have a lot to say. Present company accepted. McMurphy winks at me with his huge green eyes and I blush, trying desperately not to show how boring I feel compared to him. Don't take it harsh, I'm only joking, Cara. McMurphy, I've been meaning to ask you something for a while now. Anything, Cara, ask away. I'd love for us to get to know each other better. This Cara thing, you know my name is... The rest of my sentence is drowned out by McMurphy's howls of laughter. Ha! You make me laugh, Cara. You really do. I know exactly what your name is, Orissima. Cara is just it's like a pet name, you know. Cara means friend, buddy, amigo. It's something my mommy used to call people, and I guess it just stuck. It's one of these few things I remember about her, actually. That and her beautiful smile. Hey, flash me your pearly whites. I smile at McMurphy, awkwardly. He bursts into fits of laughter again. That's a lovely smile, to be sure, but you need to grow into it yet. Could I have a top up over here? I don't know if I feel comfortable giving you more alcohol, McMurphy. I think you've had more than enough. In fact, I didn't even want to give you any in the first place. Did you know that cats have 9 lives? And you want to waste them all on booze? And why not? Besides, the night is still young and we've only just begun our conversation. Come on, Cara. We have a lot of chin wagging to get. Are you going to pour or not? This is an intervention. McMurphy, I cannot in good conscience enable your drinking any longer. Huh. And who made you the boss of me? I'm a vet, McMurphy. I'm doing this for your own good. Oh, and what about your own good, Cara? I can't help but notice you're enjoying my fine vintage. I look at the bottle in my hand and realize I have actually drunk rather more than I thought. Oh, gosh, it grows on you, this stuff, doesn't it? Are you coming round to my way of thinking by any chance? Absolutely not. If you want to drink, you're going to have to pour it for yourself. I plant the bottle down on the floor in front of him. Pour. McMurphy pounces the bottle, pushing it over, and whips his hand round under the neck so that the liquor is trickling straight down his throat. Whoa, mister! Okay, I know when I'm beaten. I grab the bottle away from him and pour a conservative amount into his sleeve. He laps at it a little before looking back at me as if he has something to say. Say, Cara, you ever been in love? McMurphy, that second leaf has gone straight to your head. The cat smiles slyly. I'm going to take that as a yes. Are you still with them? Well, I was never technically with them to begin with. Oh, well, it's definitely their loss. I don't think so. McMurphy, we've never actually met. You're not saying you're one of those, internet stalker types, are ya? Them catfish that Kibbles tells tales of? No, McMurphy, gosh. It was Bowie, okay? I was in love with David Bowie, you know? McMurphy frowns and shakes his furry head. See? These eyes so green? I can stare for 1,000 years, you know? Oh, that's a charming song. But I'm afraid I have no idea what's going on anymore. Oh, come on, McMurphy. Everyone knows who David Bowie is. Red hair, lots of makeup, one blue eye, one brown eye. Well, I didn't know one sweet soul with a blue eye and a brown eye, but I can assure you they wouldn't be caught dead in makeup. McMurphy snorts. Well, what about you, McMurphy? Who's the love of your life? Didn't have one, Cara. Never have. Never will. I'm a lone wolf. I'm a free agent. I'm a big old yeti. Out in the mountains. All hairy and smelly and alone. For some reason, I find that very hard to believe, Mr. McMurphy. Fine, you're right. I'm a fool. A lovesick fool. I've had my heart broken more than once, Cara, and each time hurt more than the last, I tell ya. The thing is, though, Cara, I can't remember a thing about any of them. Any of what? I don't know. What are we talking about? David Bowie? That's right. So, tell me how the two of you met. McMurphy, I think I'm drunk. What the hell have we been drinking? McMurphy, my fellow cat counterpart, ekala. Oh, leave me alone. I haven't touched a drop. I think I'm gonna vom. I wake up in the forest with half-empty bottle in my hand, and McMurphy is nowhere to be seen. How the hell did I get here? I can't remember a thing. I look into my catalog. Whoa, is that really the time? Creaky, I need to get to work. Ci siamo ambriacati col gatto. Bene, bene. E il gatto ci ha piantati lì nella foresta, oltretutto. Cioè, mollate dal gatto. Io boh. Non si sblocca niente, scusami. Completing Recon 5. Come si fanno a sapere i capitoli? Regalo da Murphy. Ok, quindi Recon non lo possiamo fare. Possiamo fare ancora Romance. Possiamo riposare. Riposiamo. There are waves crashing. The sound is so loud I can't make myself be heard, but I still scream to the life raft that's moving away from the sinking ship. I'm going down with this ship. I've been thrashed against the sides of the old wooden vessel. This isn't right. The ship looks wrong. A cat's face looms close up to mine. Everything is wrong. All of it. Which cat are you? The words come out of my mouth as meowing, and I realize I am not myself. I'm some kind of beast. Suddenly I'm flying.
I'm in the claws of some enormous bird. The beating wings are deafening. I look down to see the ground approaching really fast. You can drop through the break. What does that mean? What break? What break? Perché mi immagino io da vecchia così. Oh oh. Breakfast, rise and shine. Ok. Oh. A cat rat meets Van Gogh per un attimo. Facciamo romance. Ah, quindi... Ah, così proprio? Cioè, se esco con uno per una volta, basta, con gli altri non si può più fare. Quindi devi fare più partite per questo motivo qua. I'm sweltering in the mess tent. Typical for me to get cook duty on the hottest day so far. I step out for a moment to try and catch some air. Finito? Non lo so. Perché io, in teoria, da quello che dice quando clicco sul menu dell'antidoto, della ricerca, mi dice che finisce. E mi chiede se ho fatto tutto quello che volevo fare. Quindi ho idea che i capitoli si sbloccano mano a mano. Non so. Andiamo avanti, vediamo com'è. Psst. I'm not sure if I really heard something or if the dehydration is getting to me. I take a swig from my water bottle. Facciamo con McMurphy e Bone. Sì, perché gli altri non sono sbloccati. La gatta ha il cuore spezzato perché abbiamo scelto McMurphy. Come può durare un'ora una cosa così? Probabilmente dura un'ora la prima cioè una partita. Perché in una partita puoi fare romance solo con un gatto e puoi fare la ricerca 3 volte. E secondo me è cumulativo. No, secondo me non mente, perché una partita è come una partita parziale. Ok? Ci sono... Quando consideri le visual novel di questo tipo, che sono tipo otome, quando guardano la lunghezza considerano una route del personaggio. Qui la route è un tot di uscite più la ricerca dell'antidoto. Secondo me, siccome l'antidoto siamo tipo al 6%, con 3 ricerche mica lo finiamo, deve arrivare al 100% immagino, e queste cose si continuano ad accumulare e tu man mano che fai partita dopo partita dopo partita riesci a fare romance con tutti i gatti, riesci a fare tutto l'antidoto e riesci a vedere il vero finale. Secondo me potrebbe essere che funzioni così, quindi allora ci sta la durata di un'ora, perché effettivamente quando arrivi a fare i 3 step di ricerca poi lo puoi finire ed iniziare una nuova partita. Però adesso finiamo i date con Murphy e vediamo cosa succede cliccando la ricerca, perché mi ricordo che anche quello che hai visto tu su YouTube, che hai detto prima, Hatoful Boyfriend, io ho registrato la prima partita, ok? Poi però dopo, per i fatti miei, ho fatto tutto il resto dei personaggi e poi ha un true ending, cioè ha un finale, tra l'altro super serio, super impegnato, cioè è proprio il gioco che non ti aspetti. Quindi quando giochi una visual novel di questo tipo, una visual novel in generale che ha più finali, alla fine della fiera puoi considerare chiusa l'esperienza quando hai visto / letto tutte le route disponibili. Come se tu pensi, per fare un altro paragone, Raging Loop. Tu Raging Loop, proprio perché per come è strutturato, nella prima partita vedi un infinitesimo di quello che è il gioco in realtà, perché tu è solo facendo partite su partite su partite che alla fine arrivi alla verità, tornando indietro, andando avanti. È così anche nei Nonary Games. In Danganronpa no, in Danganronpa è più non è così con vai avanti vai indietro. Steins Gate è così anche. Steins Gate anche lì, per arrivare a quello che succede veramente, a capire davvero, devi fare più partite. Quindi ce ne sono alcune che sono, diciamo, tra virgolette lineari, e ce ne sono altre dove per vedere davvero tutto devi fare tutto. Quindi ho il sospetto che questa qui
sia una di quelle con questa struttura qua. Boh, se stat. Ah, ecco, è quello lì in piccolo. Devo provare a fare anche Recon, l'ultimo Recon. Quanti date abbiamo da fare? 5? Sì. Ok. Ha bevuto. Hey, aren't you gonna share, Cara? Oh, McMurphy. Was that you, Sting? What are you suggesting, Cara? I only use the designated little areas. Marv, you are incorrigible. You know exactly what I meant. Come on, Cara, never mind all that. We have work to do. I am working. I am supposed to be cooking for this evening. I mean, work for the adventuring variety. Oh, of course you do. Oh, come on, don't be such a bore. I'm sorry, McMurphy, but I can't. I'm very busy here. It's going to take hours to defrost and braise this meat from the mainland. Well, if you come with me, you may end up providing a much tastier dish in half the time. What do you say, Cara? You up for the crake? What are you saying? You mean I should just bunk off? That's the spirit. Strip off your apron and let's hit the trail. But I can't just... What if someone comes looking for me? Leave him a note. Gone fishing. Maybe it's the heat, but I'm overcome with a moment of madness. Well, okay then. Your wild Irish rover. I'm all yours. Now there's a thought. Before I can answer, he sunk into the thickering of the forest behind the clay cooking pits. I whip off my apron and follow behind. Wait, Marv, it's too hot to run. Then we really ought to cool ourselves off, huh? He's led me up to the cliffs, and without warning takes a running jump off the edge. I see him flying through the air and watch mesmerized as he cuts through the water. Oh no, Murphy, are you okay? Don't panic, I'm coming. I kick off my flip-flops and shorts and follow him into the water. I'm surprised at how shallow it is and that I'm easily able to stand. Marv, where are you? I frantically search about, fearing for his safety, and suddenly feel something brush against my legs, making me scream out loud. What's that? I look down into the clear water and see McMurphy speeding along the seabed like a shark, fast and sleek, and suddenly breaking up through the surface with something in his mouth. McMurphy, you can swim? What on earth is that thing? Oh, it's a fish! I can see he's smiling even with the Sprite in the way. You can fish? He spits the fish back into the water. There truly is no end to my talents, Cara. You could say that again, but I have so many questions, I don't even know where to start. Catch your breath, Cara. I know I'm exhilarating company, but you need to exercise a little bit of restraint or you'll be swinging me next. Relax, the salt water is very buoyant. I copy McMurphy and we both lie on our backs with our backs on the surface. It's very calming and tranquil, and I am finally able to collect my thoughts. I realize I've not had this much clarity in a long time. This is so cool. I know. Trixie took me here first. Calls it the Ponder Pool. Oh, can you all swim then? I thought cats. Before I can even finish my sentence, McMurphy cuts in. It's a common misconception that cats can swim. As you can see, it's another thing we excel at. So humble too. As Nana McMurphy used to say, if you've got a trumpet, blow it. What about the fish? Where did he came from? There are no birds or fish on this island. It's one of the first things they tell you in orientation. That's just because they don't know. Don't know what? Oh, it's better if I just show you. Come on, Kara, follow me. We swim for a while with McMurphy leading the way with purpose, and then he stops. Well, notice anything interesting? Well, the water is much cooler and deeper here. Anything else? Can you feel anything? I stand perfectly still for a moment and begin to feel a strange sensation around my legs, like a worm trickling under the water. McMurphy, are you peeing? Don't be so crude, Kara. It's a current. Look, over there. I refocus my eyes until I see what I thought was a rock shadow is moving. It comes closer into focus and I realize it's a shoal of a small fish darting in and out of one particular spot. What is that? I don't understand what I'm looking at. Isn't it enough to just see, Kara? To experience? Do you always have to understand everything? Well, yes, that's my job. It's who I am, McMurphy. I am a scientist. It's in my DNA to seek to understand. Come on then, scientist. Let's take a closer look. We move closer to the area where the fish are gathered. I put my hand down and realize I can touch them and even pick them up, but something is stopping them from swimming further inland. McMurphy, we need to get going. I'm going to be in big trouble if I'm away for any longer. But thank you for showing me this. I'm definitely going to come back here to try to understand it. I wouldn't waste your time, Kara. It wouldn't be a waste. I'm committed to finding out. He cuts across me as I'm speaking. I meant coming back to this particular spot. The fishes won't be here. Oh, I see. It's only at certain times and different locations. It changes all the time. There's no pattern to it either, so you'd just be sticking pin in maps, Kara. I brought you here because I saw them this morning. Chances are they'll be gone by this afternoon. The disappointment must be apparent on my face because McMurphy switches lanes super fast to distract me. Okay, Kara, it's time to strip off. Huh? The t-shirt would make a lovely net. Let's go fishing. Go fishing? I whip off my top and use it as a net to scoop as many fish as possible. It's quite effective. Great idea, Marv. Now you can rustle up a tasty fish supper in no time at all, and you get to enjoy my company for an extra hour. Win-win, Kara. Okay, so now I have a little challenge for you. That, Kara, is music to my ears. There's little I like more than a gauntlet thrown. Well, it's hardly a gauntlet, more a brain teaser. How am I going to explain to the rest of my team this bountiful ocean offering? Why tell them anything at all? Because they're going to notice that we're eating something that wasn't on the delivery list or the menu rota and tastes way too fresh for something recently defrosted. You worry far too much about things that really don't matter, Kara. I know he's right. I could do with loosening up a little, but this is a pretty big dilemma, really. Maybe I ought to tell Professor Popper about this? What's the harm? Max stopped splashing around and looks me squarely in the eyes. There will be harm, Kara. Trust me on that. Obviously, I don't mean I'd tell him about you or anything that would endanger any of us, just that I noticed the shoal of fishes and I took some hand off. You really think you could mention a phenomenon like this and that would be the end of it? That he wouldn't start putting all manner of investigations and disruptions in place? You are touchingly naive, my friend. I feel myself blush. I am being a bit naive, but I don't like the thought of lying. So what do you suggest then, if you know so much about everything? Give me a plausible story and I'll follow through. McMurphy lets out a wild howl and splashes water at me. Now that's what I like to hear, you impetuous daredevil, you. I splash him back, and a furious water fight ensues. We are making such a ruckus, I'm amazed no one comes to check what's going on. After a good 10 minutes of laughter and play, we run out of steam and float in the buoyant, warm water. Let's hear it then, Oz. What's my cover story? It's a very simple case of brazen bluffing. Okay? Make a simple but delicious meal, and if anyone should ask where the fish came from, shrug your shoulders and ask the same question. Huh? It's all in the poker face. You remain completely impassive and ask the same question. Yeah, I wonder that too. Where did the fish come from? They're delicious. Really? Trust me, Kara, as a cat who is forever risking one of his 9, the simpler you keep it, the more they buy it. If they ask you where you got them from, you tell them the fridge. Simple. I feel quite giddy at the prospect of getting away with a ruse. Ok, Marv, let's gather the supper. Sai che non mi ero neanche accorta finché tu non l'hai detto miau 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 miau, non mi ero accorta che dice miau. Vabbè. We have an abundance in no time, and I haul my couch back to the kitchen in good time to make a tasty meal for everyone, and a little extra for my feline pals. Ma Recon no. Sono stordi, niente, posso fare solo Roman. Se è la 100ª volta che controllo. Andiamo avanti. 8.3 però l'antidoto. It's too beautiful a day to be saving it for a hot tub. In a hot lab. So when Marv invited me for a stroll, it was easy to say yes. Not that I'd need much incentive to spend time with him. He's very engaging. Company. C'è Daria. Ciao Daria, guarda i tuoi amici sullo schermo. We've come to one of my favorite spots, where the cliffs sweep upwards above the blue water. Suddenly, and without any warning, McMurphy plunges over the top of the towering rocks. I run to the cliff's edge, with my heart in my mouth to see what's happened. And there is a sight I still haven't got used to. He's in the water, more otter than a cat, waving me to follow. Altro che snooty booty. Esatto. Jump, Cara, jump! Sure, the water's grand. McMurphy. I'm shocked by the shrillness of my voice. I hadn't intended to be quite such a shriek. It was aiming for stern admonishment. It's so dangerous. You could do yourself serious injury or worse from that height. Oh, come on, Kara, or you won't get to see the little surprise I have in store. You've already surprised me enough for one day. Huh! Which one of us is meant to be the pussy? At this, I am filled with an indignance that takes over my body, and before I know it, I am halfway between ledge and water, bracing for impact. This way, I am still catching my breath as McMurphy's head disappears under the surface. My mind saying, no, this is ridiculous. Get back to land this instant, but my body is following the Irish cat. My eyes take a moment to adjust, but when they do, I can hardly believe what I'm looking at. It's a ship. As we approach from the stern, it looks pretty much intact. I can see the name on the rear port side, and though faded and worn away in parts, the words are unmistakable. Kitty's Desire. My head is swimming due to the excitement and lack of oxygen. I flounder to the surface to catch my breath. Ricambia comunque. Kitty's Desire? I feel like I know that name. McMurphy eventually bobs up to join me on the surface. Surprised? A shipwreck? Here? This is a very old island, Kara. A lot has happened here. But how did a ship even get here before the path was made? Hey, don't ask me, Kara. I'm just in for the grog. McMurphy smiles and dives back into the murky depths. I follow, and flailing flashback in comparison to Murphy's sleek figure. I try to get a closer look to the wreckage. It's a big ship, likely a trading vessel judging from the size. It's hard to tell how old it is, but it certainly isn't modern. Maybe 18th, 19th century. When we entered the ship from a huge hole in the stern, I realized that a lot of the vessel is actually on land, and it's obvious that it ran ashore after it was damaged at sea. There's not much time to ponder the mechanics of what happened, as McMurphy is tugging at my t-shirt with his right paw while gesturing with his other paw outstretched to a cabin he wants me to enter. I'm grateful for the air trapped inside and gasp for breath. Here, Kara, look. Hang on, let me catch my... But he has already ducked into the next cell. How is he not out of breath? I realize his ability to swim underwater is unusually strong, but he barely breaks the surface at all. In here, through the hole, he sounds really excited, and as I enter, I see why. There, in the center of the cabin, is a chest. It's wedged between the wall and a surprisingly well-preserved writing desk, the only thing preventing it from falling and from being buried in sand. A treasure chest? I sound like a giddy child and feel embarrassed, but McMurphy joins my glee, and suddenly we're cheering and laughing together. A chest underwater, is this? Genshin Impact, ricercato lussuoso, là. Go on then, open it, Kara. Okay. What are you waiting for? The key? Does it need one? Well, of course it does, Marv. It's a locked treasure chest. Can you not just break the lock? Who do you think I am, Houdini? I don't know about that, but I do know that you're a very clever scientist whose thirst for knowledge matches my thirst for grog. So you get yours, and I'll go get mine. The moggy grins before darting into the next cabin, and I hear the familiar clinking of bottles shortly after. I decide to try to lock away anyway, while McMurphy is getting his. I look around for something, anything I could lever it with, and I am disappointed. Everything except the chest and desk must have been washed away a long time ago. Troviamo Magima sott'acqua col breaker. No, basta Magima. Basta Magima. Non lo vedremo mai più. Non lo vedremo mai più, perché nella storia io non lo cercherò. È tutto finito, è quasi finito. Cioè, non è vero che è quasi finito, però lasciamo questa illusione. 6 volte sempre col breaker, sì. E che esce dal pattume, vabbè. Quando lo cercavo, niente. Ok? We'll have to come back with some tools to tackle with the lock, Murph. There comes no response. McMurphy is obviously still busy with his looting and pillaging, so I decide to swim to the beach to get a better look at this wreck from land. Lo rincontreremo nel 2. When I can take in the scene properly, I can make out what looks like another large ship just a bit further down the beach. I can hardly believe what I'm seeing. One huge sea vessel finding its way to this island is strange enough, but 2 meeting the same unhappy fate is more than my brain can process. The proximity of the pair would suggest a collision of some kind. Possibly the second vessel could have been a pirate ship, maybe it was attacking the merchant vessel.
I get the feeling I'm looking at the conclusion of a very interesting story here. I wonder why Professor Popper didn't tell me about it. Obviously, he must be aware of the two vessels. My nose for intrigue has started to twitch, and I am burning to know more. I decide to take some of the debris, splinters, and small chunks of metal and pocket it for later analysis in the lab. When I'm satisfied that I've thoroughly combed the beach for specimens and have salvaged anything of interest, I realize I haven't seen McMurphy for quite a while. My heart stops and the hairs on my neck stand on end. How could I have been so wrapped up in my work that I neglected to keep an eye on my friend? McMurphy? I met with silence and still water. I run back towards Kitty Desire, my heart thumping in my chest. McMurphy? I jump in the sea and swim back to the stern of the ship. There doesn't seem to be any life around here. I break to the surface with a choke and try to call out again, but my throat is hoarse and full of salt water. Where? I catch sight of a shadow out of the corner of my eye, crawling along the seabed. I dive under to get a better look and see instantly that it's the Irish cat, stalking and prowling as if he were on land. È annegato, è annegato. No, non è annegato. I quickly grab him by the scruff of the neck and drag him back to shore. McMurphy, you loon! What on earth were you playing at? I catch my breath and check on him, but he's happily rolling on his back in the sand. Get serious! Me, I was having a grand time until you manhandled me with those big, meaty paws of yours. What? Having a what? Calm down, Cara. You look like you're going to pop. You've been under the water for ages. I didn't see you come up for air once. I've been blessed with fantastic breathing apparatus. But I didn't know that, did I? And you were worried about me? Oh, Cara, now that is very touching indeed. I feel like a damsel in distress, rescued by a charming... I don't allow him to finish his sentence. You may think you're very clever and funny, but let me assure you that no one else here is laughing. Jumping off cliffs without warning and drinking while you're swimming, not very clever at all. I wasn't drinking while I was swimming. That would be impossible. I know. I tried. The more cross I am, it seems the more amusing McMurphy finds it. You may not realize it, mister, but I have a duty of care towards you. All of you cats. So, if something happens to me, you're afraid you'll get into trouble? Oh, and there was me thinking you care for me because you like me. He's deliberately turning this around, and it infuriates me further. Stop being so manipulative. You know how much I care for you. Of course I do. But you can be very tricky too, you know. Shall we open this? He's reached over to the bottle of grog he's taken from the rack. You look like you could use something to take edge off. No, McMurphy, I do not want any of that. Thank you very much. So, what is it you do want, Clara? He flashes me a raffish grin. I want you to stop being quite so reckless. You'll give me a heart attack. Well, much as your heart is of considerable concern to me, Cara, I'm afraid I can't promise to stop being what I am. It's like asking the wind to stop blowing. The wind does stop blowing sometimes. He lets out a long laugh. You really are a scientist, Cara. Nothing will ever change that, huh? I understand what he's saying. I need to allow him to do his own thing. Okay, come on then. Let's start heading back. Actually, Cara, you go on ahead. I'll catch up with you later. He winks, and I am in no doubt as to what he wants to do for the rest of the day.
Posso fare ancora uno e poi riposare? As the sun is going down, I decide to retreat into my tent for the night. When I undo the flap, I see McMurphy curled up asleep in my pillow. McMurphy, you're gonna get fur all over everything. Oh, hi there, Kara. You back late, you Rascapillion. Why are you in my bed? Come on now, we both knew I'd get in your bed eventually, didn't we? My hand reaches for the spray bottle, but McMurphy throws up his paws defensively. I'm an unarmed cat, Kara, and I actually came to give you something for good behavior. Don't make me send it back now. Give me something what? Ah, sure, now you're listening. I found something that might just interest you. If it's more than a grog, McMurphy, If it's more of that grog, McMurphy, I can assure you I'm not interested in the slightest. I sit on the end of my bunk and push him off my pillow, but allow him to stay on the bed. As he moves reluctantly aside, I can see a black corner poking out from under my blanket. What's that? Why don't you take a look? I eye him skeptically, nervous of what he's roping me into now. Tell me what it is first. Huh, will you just pick it up, Kara? I won't bite. I carefully reach for it and realize it's a small leather book, beautifully aged and yet seems to be in good condition. I open it as gently as I can for fear that it might turn to ash in my hands. On the first page, smashed and faded but not destroyed by time or water, are the words, Captain's Log. I can't stop myself from gasping out loud. Oh, Marv, how did you find this? There's a lot of you can find at the bottom of a bottle or 12. Are you impressed? Impressed? Speechless. I could kiss your furry head. Well, don't let me stand in the way of you and your passion. I hardly notice he's still speaking, as I have begun trying to decipher the entries, and I am instantly engrossed. 1789. The men are getting restless. I begin to fear for the continued safe running of this vessel, my vessel, of which they are in mind to take ownership, if my captain's instinct serves me right. Huh? Are you listening? Oh, sorry, what? I said, maybe I should leave you to eat then? Yes, no, wait, McMurphy, tell me where you really got this from. Was it the treasure chest? No, Kara. Would you believe it? The thing was full of nothing but sand and salt water. That bit of treasure, on the other hand, I found at the bottom of one of my crates of grog, hidden in between the bottles. But this belongs to a captain. Why would it be with the crew's provisions? I'll let you figure that one out, Brainiac. Think of it as a puzzle to keep you amused on all of your cold, lonely nights. McMurphy smirks and saunters out of my tents. Re con 15. Attenzione. È salito all'11. I've decided to catch up on some rest and relaxation, like the professor keeps telling me to do. So I've come down to the jetty where Zane usually sits. Attenzione, ho pericolo baccarat. No! Today isn't a delivery day, and as I was hoping, he's nowhere in sight. I sit with my legs dangling over the edge and take out my sketchbook and pencils. I haven't done this in ages. It's so peaceful, I can't get lost in my own little world when I'm drawing. I tried doing a couple of landscapes,
the mountain range in the distance, the trees of the forest, but nothing is really grabbing me. Then, as I'm daydreaming, staring into the water, I notice the pattern that the ripples form on the surface. They're unusual, I suppose because of the magnetic pull. The effect is beautiful. I end up sitting for over an hour just trying to capture it on my page. Facciamo record. The book McMurphy gave me is sitting on my lap. I wonder what a pirate's diary is doing on this island. Maybe there will be some clues within? The log reads, I felt an almighty crash and then silence and stillness everywhere. It took a few seconds to gather my thoughts and understand what had happened here. If it would ever really be possible to understand this god-forsaken place and how we got so far off course to reach here. But in that moment, immediately after we hit the rocks, I knew two things. I was alive and we were on land. And I felt grateful. It felt like a chance at survival, and I was determined to grasp it. I felt my legs intact, thank God, and began crawling over the slate and shingle that seemed to stretch upwards to eternity. What type of place was this? Darkness was falling fast, but I needed to make sure we would be safe in this unexpected terrain. Who knew what would happen during the long night? What creatures it may bring, even what strange meteorological anomalies. Looking at the sky, I felt anything was possible, and we ought to be prepared. We had to work fast. I assembled the men, raggle-taggle though we were, into some kind of orderly unit, in the hope that the familiarity of the discipline would raise morale. We were all tired, cold, and hungry. Some of us needed medical attention. This was not going to be easy, but it's what I was trained for, and I would rather die than let my men down. We need to make some shelter. My voice sounded thin and weak against the sound of the waves crashing. At first light, I looked around and began to take stock properly. It was gratifying to see that the temporary shelter we had cobbled together last night was still intact, and no disasters had befallen us to add to the difficulties we were already burdened with. Considering the conditions we erected this makeshift covering and how short a time, I felt heartened for the first time since we were out at sea, before the strange electrical storm began that ended with us being thrust here against the unforgiving rocks of this terrifying place. We could do so much more with daylight on our side and food in our bellies. So they were shipwrecked on this island? The thought of being the first inhabitants here is terrifying. How on earth did they survive? Maybe they didn't. I want to believe they were rescued, but that seems unlikely. I will read more this evening. As I put the book away, a small piece of paper falls into my lap. It must have been hidden amongst the pages of the log. It's a note, maybe a letter. Sally, I know you worry for me, but not. The men do not treat me bad. They give me food and do not beat me so much anymore. The captain is not so fearsome as what they say and is giving me lessons on my writing. I am improving. I practice all night because I can't sleep. I work hard, sometimes till my hands crack and bleed, but I still use them every morning to pray for you, that you are safe and well, and that we will be together once again. I miss you so much. The seas have not been smooth.
Shipwrecked tipo arenarsi, se non erro. Non è naufragio lo shipwreck? No?
Sometimes I worry that we will capsize completely and be lost out here forever, but I would swim the widest ocean back to you, my sweet sister. I hope you are practicing your writing too. I would like to read your clever poems again. Your loving brother, Jim. What a sweet letter. I wonder what became of Jim.
Non mi veniva a naufragare, sì, penso sia quello. romance. Poi comunque di questi non ne possiamo fare più. I'm out later than usual this evening. I've been feeling restless and not sleeping great. I wonder if it's the first transition progressing in me. I feel a pang of fear but soothe myself with the knowledge that I'm working hard on the antidote and I've made some headway with it. My thoughts are interrupted by an unfamiliar sound. I'm not afraid. I've come to know the island so well, and on this end, I know I am totally safe. I'm led by my curiosity as usual. My senses are so attuned to this place now that I know instantly if something is out of the ordinary. Un'ora sottoscriviamo. Sì, ricordiamoci che lo potevo già finire comunque. Sono io che ho scelto di fare questa cosa del gatto, perché voglio vedere cosa succede. It's a very determined scraping, and it's coming from behind a large tree. I creep around as quietly as possible, so as not to alert the perpetrator, but the noise stops. There's a standoff, both of us silent, until... In preda al completismo, attenzione! Kara, what are you doing creeping around in the middle of the night? I exhale loudly. McMurphy, you had me going for a minute there. Spying on me, were ya? Alla sindrome di Stoccolma sulle route. Oh no. Of course not. I heard the noise and... What was that noise? My, what a sticky little beak you have. He laughs, but I still feel a bit embarrassed. I cast my eyes downward and notice that he has scraped all the moss and leaves from the surrounding area and piled them together into a kind of nest. Dopo Haruka deve massimizzare qualunque rapporto, esatto. Oh no, looks cozy. That's the plan, Kara. Huh, a night under the stars, huh? Yep, a McMurphy special. Got some grog for the occasion? You know me so well, Kara. Well, fortunately for you, I couldn't sleep, so I see McMurphy's body language change and intuitively know that he feels awkward. That's so rare for him. I rack my brains and, in a nanosecond, get an answer. He doesn't want me here. It's like a physical blow that winds me for a second before I can say anything. Oh no, I wasn't inviting myself. I actually have work to do tonight, so just meant I'm glad I got to say hi. I feel like an idiot, twittering on. Well now, I didn't really think you'd be wanting to lay out all night, catching the breeze with me. If I thought there was a chance you'd be up for it, I would have loved to have you along. Sure, so enjoy. Stasera inizio un po' Resident Evil 3, lascio questa info qui, ma live? Live o per i fatti tuoi? Nel buio della tua cameretta, assieme a Jill. September 28, 29, non mi ricordo qual è il giorno, però qualcosa a settembre, 20 qualcosa di settembre, 28. The monsters has overtaken the city. I am about to leave, but something stops me. Why didn't you? Nel buio della mia stanza, altro che cameretta. Nel buio della tua stanza, all'interno della tua magione. Why didn't you? La lettera matrimoniale è per me. He looked surprised. What's that, Kara? Why didn't you think I'd want to stay up all night? Even as I say the words, I recognize how ludicrous they sound. Me staying out all night, risking being late for work? Because, well, come on, Kara, because you're you. He laughs not unkindly, more fondly. And fantastic though you are not, well, like me. I could think so, too, as far as I'm concerned. Yeah, you're right. Night-night, Murph. Have fun. Yes, Kara, that is most definitely on the cards. Spoiler, eppure mi sembra di non avere spazio. Fenomenali poteri cosmici in un minuscolo spazio vitale. As I make my way back to camp, I'm passed by 3 vivacious young cats, frisky and giggling. They are heading in the direction I've just come from. It makes me smile and sad at the same time. Ok, quindi mi ha dato picche? Finiamolo. And to complete your research, your time on Cat Island will come to an end. Have you seen everything you wanted to see? Sì, non posso fare nient'altro. Yes, I'm ready. Chiudono una gave per 3 giorni. Professor Popper told me to be ready early and dress for hiking, as we're doing field work this morning. I'm not sure that I have anything that would pass for hiking gear. To be honest, some sturdy should would be good. Well, lab coat and trainers it is then, as usual. A message from the professor lights up my catalog. Set to go? I'm waiting outside my tent. Hi, Eurysima, are you ready for our field work today? Yes, of course, Professor. May I ask, where are we going? Somewhere I think you'll find very interesting. The professor hands me a backpack. Here, take this bag. It's very full, but surprisingly light. Popper has set off at a brisk pace, calling back to me over his shoulder. This way. Nutrilo al 4 e fallo stare fino al 7 nutriendolo. Vedrai che ti guarderà come il suo salvatore, come il suo Dio, colui che concede misericordia. Ormai, I run to catch him up. Ormai mi ha dato il 2 di picche. After some serious walking, with me struggling to keep up, the professor stops abruptly and listens. Do you hear that? There's a distant sound of bubbling water. We're almost there. Secretly, I'm relieved, as I don't think I could go much further. Just a little climbing. Top strategia da usare anche con e soprattutto con le waifu. Climbing? I hide my dismay. Where does he get the energy from? It's just at the top there. It's not as difficult as a climb it looks. We are in front of an almost vertical rock face. Just copy me. He clambers up expertly. I manage to find a spot that will support my foot and start the climb. I make little progress before slipping and falling flat on my bum. I try again. This time I take it slow. Again I fall. What happened to the benefits of gratification the others keep going on about? The professor notices I'm having trouble and holds a hand out for me. I manage to climb up just enough to take hold of him, and he lifts me the rest of the way. His strength is impressive. Curious even. Not a fan of climbing, eh? Can't say I've done much of it, Professor. Come along then, I can get you there. He pretty much pulls me all the way to the top and then leads me to the entrance of a small cave. The sound of running water is very loud now. È anche il plot di Wolf Creek 2, un film dove il protagonista è un totale pazzo criminale. Bene. I instantly see why a natural spring has cut its way through the rock and created a beautiful cascade of sparkling, clear water. It looks delicious. I kneel down without thinking and begin to drink. It tastes amazing. As I come off for breath, I see the professor looking at me with suspicion. You should know better. It is never wise under any circumstances to ingest something that is unproven. But here, on this island, it will be prudent to exercise more caution than usual. I feel embarrassed at my lack of consideration. Yes, of course, sir. I wasn't thinking. I felt so thirsty and it looked so good. I do understand. Many have made the same error. Fortunately for you, this is tried and tested for safe consumption. It It's good, don't you think? My body feels suddenly re-energized. I feel like I could climb any wall. It's incredible. I feel fantastic. What's in it? We don't know. That's why we're here. We need more samples. We've been studying this water for months now, and we still know very little about it. Check your bag. I open my bag. It's full of the brim with empty plastic bottles. We'll need to fill all of this with water. We're going to need as much as we can carry. I do as he says, but by the time all the bottles are full and back in my bags, it weighs a ton. But I feel like he can lift anything. The effect of that water is powerful. The professor has also packed his own rucksack with bottles. That should do. For now, let's get this back. As we make our way down the rock face and back to camp, I have no problem keeping up with the professor. I feel I could run all the way. However, as we get closer to home, I start to feel the effect wear off. My bag becomes unbearably heavy. The final limp into camp is torture. I need to rest. Speriamo che non respiri attraverso quell'orribile spazio dagli incisivi. Poraccio. I've already loaded my bags onto the boat, and Joe, the ferryman's son, has told me, rather rudely, that if I'm not back in 15 minutes, they'll leave without me. And I won't be unloading your bags for you either, so I run as fast as I can to where I know he'll be at this time of the day. I must see him one last time before I go. Mac, I've reached the shipwreck, but there's no sign of him. My heart lurches. I was sure he'd be here. I'm about to draw a picture for him in the wet sand when I hear a sound. It's coming from behind the wreck on the other side. It sounds like snoring. I creep around, not sure what I'll find, and there he is, sprawled out with an empty bottle of grog beside him. I deduce that he's drunk. Questa è la stessa faccia del tizio di Hunting Ground. McMurphy, you're drunk? It's morning? Oh, but I'm drunk from last night, Kara. That's decent enough. Well, I wanted to say goodbye properly, but I guess you won't remember anyway. Suddenly, he's up and alert, like a different cat. Do you not know me at all, Kara? There's not one word that's passed between us and I couldn't recall right now and repeat verbatim. Not one look in your eye I can't bring to mind. And he suddenly stops as though he's been slapped. You really going? I have to, you know that. If I don't get to the mainland and find some expert help soon, there will never be an antidote. I don't know if you're a hero or a fool, but I know that this island will not be the same without you. You know I'll be back, don't you? It's important that we all believe that. We must all keep the faith. You're right. I'll just miss you. That's all. And I'll miss you too, Kara. Huh. No one's ever called me that before. I have to go. The boat is leaving any minute. Come on, I'll show you a quick way. And he set off at a pace I can just keep up. We are at the jetty in no time. I bend down and nuzzle the fur on McMurphy's head before scrambling on to the boat. Saying your goodbyes? Yes, that's right, Joe. I wave as we make our way out to open water. Anyone would think them cats was your mates or something. They are, Joe, the best friends I've ever had. Oh dear. His whole demeanor has changed. What? Dad? What is it? Bob comes out from behind where he's been steering the vessel. Got a problem here, son? Yeah, Dad. This one's spoiled. I don't understand what's happening, but I sense it's no good. Okay, lad. You go steer the boat. Leave this to me. And suddenly, it's just me and Bob, and he's bearing down on me. It ain't personal, you understand, but we have to ensure things are contained. Then I see what looks like a gun in his hand, Mi ha sparato? Perché mi stavo gattificando? Stessa perplessità esistenziale, McMurphy peggio di Jim Morrison, ubriaco, H24. Se un giorno qualunque mi chiamerà cara, io la chiamerò Carom. Lei ignorerà totalmente la gravità dell'offesa e io la passerò liscia. Ci ha sparato. Ed era un finale, vedi? È come dicevo io che può durare un'ora. 1 di 18. 9,8% del gioco visto. Antidoto completo 15,3, però dopo tutto non puoi fare niente nella prima partita, cioè non puoi più di questo, perché questi sono i contatori delle cose che puoi fare per partita. Quindi capitolo 1 inteso come run 1. Relazione è complicato con Murphy. E ho fatto solo un appuntamento di successo? Questi plot li amo. Ending achieved, dry drunk. Se faccio continuo cosa succede? Vedi? E non posso più scegliere questa. Ma pensa te. Capito? Funziona così. Va bene, dai, una run l'abbiamo fatta. A posto. Domani passiamo oltre. Poi se ho voglia, quando voglia, guardo altro. Doki doki. Va bene. Ok, allora ci vediamo domani alle 5, se tutto va bene, con UP Psycho. E niente, se non va bene invece con Forspoken. Carino, sì, carino. E niente, ringrazio tutti quanti per la compagnia, vi auguro buona serata e buona cena e adieu mes amis, adieu, adieu, adieu.